If your middle name is Frugal and you have the Blu View 2, looks like this video is for you. Did you know with just a few simple tricks, you can extend the lifespan of your Blu View 2 significantly? Let's get into it. All right, if you've had your Blu View 2 this long, it means you probably have a protective case. If you still don't have a protective case, that's the number one tip. Get a protective case, get a shield, and that will help extend the life of you. That's an easy one. Come on. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, this one people don't really think about. Now, even though the Blu View, oh, that's got gross stuff in there. All right, like I was saying, even though the battery is removable, and it is possible to find replacement batteries, we still want our original battery to last as long. The number one destroyer of batteries is when you plug in to charge and you leave it plugged in after it's fully charged. It's 100% right now. You should remove the charger as soon as possible because it does this. This is what happens when you leave your charger plugged in. The electricity leaks in, continues to charge the battery. The chemistry of the battery starts to decompose and it'll cause it to puff, which then eventually will make it not charge as much, and then which will eventually make it not charge at all. So always unplug your charger. All right, speaking of the battery, let's jump into our battery settings. And if you didn't know that you had these battery settings, watch this. So we go to settings this way, we'll go to battery, and they actually have built-in software that allows you to make your battery last a little longer. There's two settings here. We're gonna do battery manager first. So you can pause and read that. When the battery manager detects that apps are draining your battery, it will restrict the apps. It's on by default. I would just leave it on. I bet sometimes you have that message where, hey, this app's going to go to sleep. All right, that's why. All right, the other setting is battery saver. Now the battery saver on this one is not super robust. It only does basically one thing. Battery turns off. The battery saver turns off when your phone's at 90%. So after it drops at 90%, look what happens here. It extends the battery life. So already in the software of the phone, there's a strategy to help you save your battery. It's going to turn on the dark theme, which we'll look at a little bit later. And then some of these other things, the visual effects and features like Hey Google will turn off also. So if you don't already, turn on your battery saver. All right, let's move on to the next one. You saw that dark mode turn on. Let's see how to turn that on just regular way. Again, we're going to go to settings. We're going to go to display and just right here, easy, dark theme. So the one thing that people don't realize is that this is the number one best way to save battery from charge to charge. It's up to 30%, some estimates are, and obviously depending on how you use your phone. But if your battery is not being stressed and used as much, it will extend the total lifetime of your battery. So I would highly recommend to turn on the dark theme. Obviously, some people don't like it, and all you do is toggle the button and to turn it off. This one surprised me. Did you know that you have other radios on in your phone? So we're going to go to the settings again, and we're going to go to connected devices. Now, if you use Bluetooth, then obviously don't turn off your Bluetooth, but some people just don't. This has a wire. Does this have wired? Yeah, you can use wired headphones on this one. So you can, if you don't use your Bluetooth, it's on by default, so you can just turn it off. Okay. This one absolutely surprised me. There's a printing radio here, and that wants to connect to printers. So if you don't print from your phone, turn that radio off. And there's a couple other here that you can explore on your own, like if you connect to your Chromebook, if you do share, or you have to turn on a specific app if you use the Android Auto app. But obviously those are all default off. All right, let's move on to the next one. Not everyone thinks of this, and I think the age of the Blu View 2 is such that we're not going to have any more updates, but make sure your system is updated. Go to settings, system, and then go to advanced, and then we'll go to system update and see if our system is up to date. Make sure yours is up to date, because if it's not, if your phone's never been updated, that might cause some sluggishness. So update it today. All right, the next way to help our phone last a long time and run better is to clear out old files. So we're going to go to storage right there. And there's built-in software. So we're going to touch Manage Storage. And I think initially you have to give it some permissions, but it automatically has the software in here to help us clean out temporary files. So we can hit it, we can clear these out, and we cleared out 106 kilobytes. So depending on how you use your phone, how much downloading you do, that kind of thing, you might have a lot to clear out of your phone. But try that, see if that helps your phone run a little bit smoother. All right, this one's pretty cool. I'm going to give a demonstration. I'm going to open up the dialer. So touch the dialer. Do you see how it takes an animation to open and it animates down? One more time, dialer, animates open, animates down. Let's turn off the animations. It won't save a ton of battery, but it will 100% make your phone feel snappy. All right, we're going to jump into settings. We're going to go to accessibility. Accessibility. And inside accessibility, remove animations right here. So you just toggle it like that, and now we're done. So let's see what happens when we bring up the dialer now. Bring up the dialer. Less of an animation, but it mostly just blinks on. Blinks on, blinks off. If you don't like it, just jump back in. Let's go back here. Let's go back to accessibility. And down here, remove animations. There we go. All right, in the comments, let me know if you turn off animations and it feels like your phone is brand new. All right, the next thing is removing apps. Now, it's not going to save you battery, but it'll save you space. And if you're starting to run out of space, that could be very important to your phone running smoothly. So let's go into settings, and apps is right here. And depending, so I'm going to hit all the apps. If you've downloaded games or, whatever that you don't use anymore, let's go to, let's see, I don't use Facebook, so let's hit Facebook. And it actually doesn't let me delete it. In apps that you download, there'll be an uninstall, but we can at least disable it. Disable it. And there, that'll help your phone run a little bit faster. Do it to all the apps that you don't use anymore. All right, this last one seems scary, but it's probably one of the more powerful ones to help your phone run smoother. Again, it's not going to save your battery, but it'll help your phone run way smoother, especially if your phone is going a little bit slower than usual. Maybe you got some glitches here and there, or it freezes up every once in a while. We're going to do something called clearing the cache. And to do that, we're going to power the phone off. Power off. All right, to get into the Android recovery menu, we're going to hold volume up and power at the same time. Volume up, power. And we're waiting for a little tiny screen, a little tiny menu to come up in the middle of the screen. There it is, volume up and power. And we're going to choose recovery mode by volume up to select, and one time, and then volume down is okay. It's going to bring up the fallen Android no command. At the fallen Android no command, we still got a button combo to do. We're going to hold down power and then quick touch volume up. Hold down power, quick touch volume up. Hold down power, quick touch volume up. Hold down power, quick touch volume up. I think this older phone is starting to lose some upper button. So what do you do? There. Oh, there we go. At the Android recovery menu. Hopefully you're not having this many problems. Don't choose wipe data factory reset. That will erase the entire phone. We want to choose the wipe cache partition and then press power for OK. Asks us to confirm. Now before you push confirm, have confidence that only temporary system files are deleted. Then when the phone turns back on, it rebuilds the necessary system files so you don't lose anything. Also, no personal data is affected at all whatsoever. So the wiping the cache partition can resolve issues like sluggishness, app crashes, glitches, especially after, like if you haven't updated your system in a while. So I'll repeat, nothing is going to be erased off your phone, only some temporary system files, and it might help solve some sluggishness. So let's press power for OK. And then it just takes a few seconds. The cache wipe is complete. Now it's safe to reboot the system. And it'll take a few seconds for it to reboot. All right, hopefully some of these tips will help your phone last even longer, maybe almost forever. Hey, if this has helped you, please like, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.